It's June 1st, 2015, and we want to know, can Brian outpun his way through a barrage of Harley Quinn name puns?
Is Black Canary about to find out that tree torns are the new Adidas?
All this and more is coming up now on the sneak peek Ep 4 of DCR.
This day, we rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Distress Citizens Radio.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome. Welcome once more to another sneak peek, Prelude to post-Convergence here at DCR. I am Sean Lamont, comic book reader extraordinaire, and joining me as he does each and every week, Mr. Brian Glein.
Hey there, Sean.
Hey, Brian, are you ready to do some preluding?
Sure, why not?
Okay, how does one prelude?
You just talk about stuff that happened in the sneak peeks.
Okay. I was hoping there'd be like pralines involved as well.
No.
No?
No.
None of that one? Okay. Maybe Shazam was going to show up, little pralines and dick.
Well, the Kingdom Come Shazam, yes. Before we jump into it, though, I do have I guess this is both a correction and a concern on my part from last week.
Spoiler-worthy correction? Like, should we do spoiler warning for it?
No, you don't need a spoiler warning.
Okay, go for it.
In Secret 6 last week, I was re-listening to our episode, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to mention the best part of Secret 6. In the museum, just in the background, you saw a statue of Demon Knight's Shining Knight, Sir Easton. I was like, oh, look at that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, that was like catered to you, and you didn't even shout it out.
Yeah, I know.
Man, that's cold.
It was late.
That was cold. But yes, before we get into this week's stuff, though, spoiler warning. We're going to cover all the stuff that happened in it, but you have no excuse, just like we've done for the last 3 episodes. They're free. They're out there. They're on Comixology. They're on DC Comics' webpage. You can just go click on them and read them at your leisure. So make sure you do so before you listen to this episode, unless you really don't feel like reading things and just want to listen to us babble incoherently. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much what your options are. I'm not going to say listening to us babble
like
incoherently.
2+ years. You should know what's going to happen by now.
You should know how this works, unless you're new.
Yeah.
And then you don't, but you have a valid excuse, so that's okay. But you guys should go out there and read them. They are good. They're fun. They'll get you psyched about some of these books that are coming out, and your wallet will either cry or you'll have to, figure out which ones you do want. They're giving you a fair shot to see exactly what the tones and styles of these books are so that you can make an educated decision moving forward. So we're going to move forward into some of these preludes, and I'm going to start off with the one spinning out of the pages of Convergence, Earth 2 Society. And it's picking up pretty much, I would almost say right after where Convergence left off, but we actually jump a year into the future. 1 year later, 1 year in the future, where we're looking at this new Telos, the planet, not the person, where the Earth 2 survivors have set up shop, and they've built cities. They've tried to rebuild civilization using the scrap and the ships themselves that they landed back on this planet with. And there's basically 2 major cities. There is New Gotham and Neotropolis. And I mean, you gotta kind of stick to your roots a little bit and just make it new. And the big thing that's different about this particular Earth 2, other than the fact that it's not a human planet, it's not an Earth whatsoever. It's a terraformed planet that was an alien world that had a bunch of domes on it for a while there, is that it is orbiting a binary star. So for half the day, there is a regular yellow sun up there, and for the other half of the day, there's a red sun up there.
Yes, that was the thing that happened.
Yes, so we get kind of we have a bunch of super people here. We got a Power Girl, we got a Superman. Well, let's mix it up a little bit for them so they can't just fly around and solve all the world's problems really, really quickly. They only get like 6 hours a day to do it. So, showed you guys.
Yeah.
And as this year has passed, there's been 2 different philosophies that it appears have kind of taken root. One in Neotropolis and one in New Gotham. Neotropolis wants to leave the planet the way it is and just kind of terraform it and slowly build it into a civilization that they can do, but while respecting the planet itself. Apparently, Alan Scott Green Lantern is tied into this planet. He's now part of the green and everything of this planet itself. And he's working alongside people like Power Girl, The Flash, and Dick Grayson Batman, who has donned the full bat suit at this point. And he has batarangs for days. No longer just one little rusty batarang.
He reverse engineered the batarang.
And they even have a panel where he jumps out and he's flinging like 50 batarangs all over the place. He's like, look at all these batarangs, guys. It's awesome. But in the other side, in New Gotham, people like Red Arrow, Oliver Queen, in this case, the Earth 2 Oliver Queen, Huntress, and new God-powered Jimmy Olsen, who is going by the name of Dr. Impossible.
Oh.
He's not Mr. Miracle, he's Dr. Impossible. He's got a very Mr. Miracle-inspired costume as well.
He was like the dark Mr. Miracle from like the Brad Meltzer Justice League that I don't think he got set up and his story never finished.
Oh, well, now he's Jimmy Olsen of Earth 2.
I guess so.
But the thing that they want to do is use that machine that we saw at the end of World's End, the thing that Batman had created that had all of the DNA and everything of the entire Earth 2. And they've built a machine, Jimmy Olsen has with his new God powers, that can take that little device and basically overwrite Telos with Earth 2, make it a carbon copy of Earth 2, and bring back all the people and animals and plants and everything. Woo! Yeah, that's what we should do. And right now it looks like these two groups are about to go to war with one another on whether they should use this machine, as the New Gotham folks are trying to use it before the giant Green Lantern construct is coming to stomp on New Gotham. So it's definitely a different setup for these characters. It read so much better than World's End. I know people like that book. I know there's people that really enjoyed it, and it had some bright spots. The end of it was a lot better than some of the middle sections of it, but maybe the fact that there wasn't mandates of a beginning and an end, and maybe this one has a little bit more free reign, it just felt a lot more natural. It felt a lot more readable, honestly. I was legitimately interested in where they're going to go with this book. So I know people have some preconceived notions of the Earth 2 crew, especially Dick Grayson, but it read pretty decent. So I would say check this one out before you make your decision to write it off or not. At least flip through these free 8 pages and see if it pulls you in.
Yep. Find out whether or not Neo Gotham wants,
No, Neotropolis.
Neotropolis wants their butter on the top of the bread, or if New Gotham wants their butter on the bottom of the bread.
Madness. So next up, speaking of insanity, though.
Yes, this one's hard to recap, so I'm just going to...
Well, it's actually really easy or really hard.
Yeah. So I'm going the easy route. Justice League United. Jeff Parker and Travel Foreman taking over. So we get a few of our regular Justice League United characters just sort of hanging out.
Are they in Bizarro America?
They sometimes are in Bizarro America. Right now, we're sort of dealing with the fact that Adam Strange seems to have been trapped by Zeta Energy one more time, and he's just sort of like that one Alien movie where the guy's just constantly in that shaft of light. It's like, oh, I'm stuck in the shaft of light, guys.
I can't move, guys.
I'm kind of twisted in an awkward position. I can't move. So there's he's foretelling of this great thing, this horrible thing is going to happen. We need more than just our members. We need to start calling in everybody. So we see our heroes just kind of zipping around the world, going full Justice League Unlimited by recruiting every single superhero humanly possible and supervillain in some cases.
Yes.
We see Vandal Savage and a couple others whose names I didn't write down because I didn't want to take notes.
Together an overwhelming force. I believe I invented that maneuver.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, Vandal Savage.
I'm hoping that's the Vandal Savage we're getting.
Yep. Yeah, so anyone can be a part of Justice League United when they need them to. It's basically Operation Justice Incarnate. You see Captain Carrot, you see Orion, you see all my favorite superheroes in the big spread at the end. Hooray!
Yeah, and it's the premise is that if they have everyone on the team, they can assemble the best team to deal with whatever problem there is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great way to get DC Comics Presents out there as a viable book, where you could have just, okay, well, we're going to do this arc and we're going to bring Black Lightning, and Booster Gold. Okay, you guys are part of this team.
Yeah, you get to hang out with Equinox for 2 issues. Go.
Yeah, and go have an adventure. Make us love you in 2 issues, and go.
No pressure or anything.
But there is a larger narrative going on, obviously, because they're dealing with problems in the multiverse, leaks, so to speak, between the multiverse and the different worlds and everything, and they're trying to seal them back up. You know who would be great at this job? Vibe. Vibe would probably be the best person in this team. He would be. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing that out there. The last page where it was the spread of everyone, like everyone joining the team. Why is Booster Gold creepily like in the background peering over people's shoulders? It's just something I noticed. It's very weird. He's just like, woo. Hey guys, I'm here too. So next up, Harley Quinn. This literally has a warning at the front of it that says readers with severe pun allergies should put this book down before continuing. And I was like, I should probably give this to Brian because it's kind of his thing. One of your titles is Punmeister General. Maybe I should get, maybe I'll just do it. So, introduction to most of the gang of Harley. If you remember before Convergence, she had decided she was going to put together a for-profit crime fighting group where they even have a sheet on, we stopped a mugging. That will be $50. We stopped a bank robbery. That'll be $1,000. So they have like their little price sheet of what each crime stopping costs. And, basically, we get the names of some of the characters in this one. It's a naming ceremony of who are you? Well, you're so-and-so. And running down the list, it's featuring characters such as the tough girl from the Bronx, Carlita Alvarez, a.k.a. Harley Quinn. Wah, wah, wah. Cyborgman's Jewish grandniece. What do you think they're going to call her? Oh, come on. Hannah Quinn.
It was on the tip of my tongue. I almost said it, but I didn't want to sound.
Chinese-American Erica Zhang from Queens.
I don't know.
Man, you're losing your title. Yeah. Harley Quinn. She's from Queens.
Oh,
representing the borough. Banana Hammock male member who is tired of being pushed around. I'll give this one to you. Harvey Quinn.
Yeah.
Yep. An Indian-American tougher girl by the name of Shona. She's from India. Well, her parents were.
Bali Quinn.
There you go. Okay. You got it. I was kind of curious to see if you were going to get any of these.
I wasn't sure when when you think it's going to go offensive, it doesn't. Then it does. It's like, oh.
We get the quintuplets from Staten Island that are weird characters that they haven't named yet. They're like, it's late. We only get 8 pages, so we'll name you guys later. We'll come back to you. And repping Harlem is Antonia, a.k.a.
Harlem Quinn.
Hey, Harlem Harley. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Harlem
really?
Harley. They had to mix it up a little bit for you. And they're all overseen by the blind in a wheelchair coach. The young girl that, when they said whoever's standing at the end wins, and she was like, hey, come on. But she's going to be their person that actually gives them their missions. And as they're doing their little naming ceremony, Tony, the little dwarf guy, and Cyborgman are off gathering intelligence on their first mission because it looks like the mayor of New York City is being a little shady. And they're going to track him down and figure it out. That's going to be their first mission. It's pun.
I hope it just turns out like the Lonely Island I Run New York song where he's doing all this extra stuff. I literally run New York.
No, it's fun. It's cute. I can see why people are buying it. It's Harley Quinn's really kind of, if this was a stock market, I would almost say she's overvalued right now, but it seems like people are eating it up.
Yeah.
Eating it up. And I'm not saying that like the quality of the book or anything like that. I'm just saying as a character, I'm trying to figure out where she fits in really still as this icon that people are latching onto. But it's not for me to judge that people are latching onto him. It's just I'm trying to find the in on the character for people. Still haven't found it yet.
Got her own section at Hot Topic. She's doing something right, I guess.
Apparently. Next up,
Batgirl. Cameron Stewart and Brendan Fletcher with Babs Tarr on art. We're just continuing the story of the new, slightly brighter, sunnier version of Batgirl, taking over the hipster neighborhood of Gotham, Burnside.
Yep.
Taking over crime-fighting duties, not actually taking it over. And we join her.
I'm mayor of this city.
I run Burnside. We join in the middle of the story of Batgirl facing Co-op, who are also known as Player 1 and Player 2.
Co-op for the win.
In their video game death trap that they've set up. and she is being helped through this death trap by her roommate Frankie, who's busy hanging out in a bar that's inhabited by the crystal gems, which my son just sort of like looked over my shoulder, he's like, where's Steven Universe? I'm like, it's just a joke in the back, I'll explain later. So co-op are apparently the best Aztec players on Vapor Online Gaming. Yeah. Batgirl gets through, and it's funny because someone with a deidetic memory, or whatever you would call that, is very good at video games because she can recognize the patterns very easily.
Yeah, there's a lot of like equations and stuff. You saw that the Donkey Kong movie, right? What's the name of that
Pixels?
one?
The one that I've seen trailers for?
The documentary.
Oh, yeah. King of Kong?
Yes, King of Kong.
Or a Fistful of Quarters?
Yes, where you see them actually like drawing on the screens and doing the little math equations and everything, and it's like, oh man, that's cheating.
Yes.
You gotta just mash the buttons and hope for the best. Don't you people play Smash Brothers? Come on,
yeah,
you know how this works.
She saves a video game designer that they kidnapped and is able to just completely Scott Pilgrim up and co-op. And they're at the end, like, yay, go Batgirl. And then you get to see little previews of like other enemies that she's going to be fighting later in the books coming up. And the Batgirl meeting between her and Robot Bunny Batman, who is her dad. And it just makes me go LOL to look at that picture. So
I'm tired of you controlling my life, Dad. Let me get out and do stuff. Let me meet people.
You don't want me to be a superhero, but you're wearing that Robot Bunny Batman suit. What's
gives? Coming from a mile away. Weep, 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 weep. Ha! I stole your joke.
Yes.
The internet is angry at this particular prelude.
Really?
Because when she entered her cheat code, it wasn't the Konami code.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what everyone expected it to be.
Well, maybe in that universe, that's what the Konami code is. You ever think of that, guys? Guys?
That's what changed everything. That's why superheroes walk amongst them. The Konami code was different.
Most people don't get the Konami code right. They're actually doing like the 2-player one or something.
Well, hey.
Or the 1-player one. I don't know.
Hey, back off.
I know.
Back off.
I know.
It's a 30-year-old code from an old system.
Yes.
Back off. You are continuing, though. I figured similar vein.
It's very similar vein. The spin-off of Batgirl, Black Canary. It's Brendan Fletcher and Hawkeye's Annie Wu. Dinah Lance is now the lead singer of Black Canary, the most dangerous band in the world. And everyone hates her because her superheroing is ruining all the other bands. Like, you broke our PA system. You broke our drummer. You stole our opening act. And so she goes, okay, I've got some money, guys. Here, I'll pay up. This will cover your PA system. This will cover the pics that, I used as ninja stars on someone. And, but that's just not enough for some of them, and then like some dude tries to El Kabong her, and there's like a rock and roll fight, and she's just fighting off all these, hipsters and rock people and groupies and stuff. She's like, oh my gosh. So she fends them off when suddenly this huge black metal beard dude shows up with a guitar that looks like Thor's hammer. And does he want money too? Like, my band's about to go on. Just let me know. I'll give you some if you need. And he goes, you broke our bass player's heart. And she's like, oh, Chris, I'm sorry. Do you want me to and then...
Do you want me to write him a letter? Is that
yeah.
Should I just text him real quick? Is that cool?
He canceled our last 4 gigs. And so he hits her with his guitar, and she flies up onto the roof of the building behind them, and he just jumps in a single bound onto the top of the roof to continue the fight because apparently everyone in the DC universe, if you're in a band, you also have superpowers, which is a thing that I have no issues with whatsoever.
No, if that's the route they want to take this, I'm game.
Mm-hmm.
Game.
Yeah, so her set's about to start, so she just Canary cries him, caca, and he falls through the roof. She jumps down through the hole in the roof that she made, and they perform their set over his lifeless fallen body. Oh my god, this is everything I could have possibly wanted.
Another one of those books that you didn't know you wanted to read until you read it. Because it was just so much fun, and it has so much potential for, like, rockabilly bands or whatever style of music. The gangs. And
I still hope King Shark is playing drums on one of the bands in the future. And then on the last page, some creepy people in glasses find a Black Canary poster and realize that they finally found her. Thank goodness this person with a shadowy past has made herself a public figure that is super easy to track down now. Way to go, easier. Black Canary.
Now that she's not a Black Ops military member anymore, really easy to find.
Yeah.
Apparently it cost us $22 to go see her. Okay, who brought the money?
Yeah.
I did not bring my credit card. Oh no, she will get away yet again.
Yeah, because Brendan Fletcher is apparently the king of just completely changing the tone of a character, but still acknowledging the past.
Yes.
Way to go.
Yep.
I am all on this one.
And if you have been enjoying the Batgirl stuff, similar tone,
similar but still different.
Yeah, but
you want your Scott Pilgrim video game stuff, you get Batgirl. You want the Scott Pilgrim band stuff, you get Black Canary.
Oh, so we have like a divider there. Nice. Next up, we are
threshold, if you will.
We are Robin. Dum. We
really got to make sure we stop doing that soon.
We're done with it. That was it. That's the end of it. No more.
Put a fork in it.
Yep. So done. It's basically just a quick setup premise where the Robin persona has been crowdsourced out to a bunch of kids who are all working with one another. If you remember the end of Batman right before Convergence, he sacrificed himself and they put up on the screens, hey, we're all Batman. We're all going to help him out. Well, these kids are taking it to the next level. They've formed their own little collective to try to protect their own streets, try to protect the city, help people out. And it's a bunch of kids. All of the dialogue is done through social media. So it's just little whoop, whoop, whoop Twitter things popping up as they're trying to figure out what's going on. And they're leading a raid against some Russian gun smugglers that are trying to bring stuff in. And it's all of them jumping out there. We don't get too much in the way of characterization. I mean, it's very brief. It's basically just the premise set up in this one. Very interesting. A lot of people are comparing it to Durarara or Dulalala, whatever your preference is, the anime with the motorcycle gangs and them all fighting and everything. It does have a very similar tone to that. I noticed on Reddit they were saying, hey, it's the Dollar Gang out there from Durarara out there fighting, which called Durarara. Because they're a motorcycle gang.
Yeah, I think you did. At one time he took me to a convention. I'm like, why do all those people have motorcycle helmets? And he's like, because it's the motorcycle sound. I'm like, you're still not explaining it very well, but okay.
Actually, I think it has something to do with Celtic legend because in Japan it's pronounced "du-la-la-la." You learn something
anytime
new.
you try to explain something to me at a convention, you're not really in the state of mind to do so.
No, I may have drank a beverage or two that is inhibiting my
or 8, but yes,
or too many is usually how many I have. But again, it's a nice little setup. I am interested in it. That Batman or the Detective Comics Endgame.
Yeah, there is that one where with a money spider where he encountered some of the characters, or at least kids who were already a part of that hadn't quite fully formed yet.
Yep, and that sold me more on it than this little sneak peek, but I guess if you hadn't read this is a nice little introduction into what the premise is going to be.
The social media stuff was hard for me because I'm old.
I do not understand these bleep bloops and letters. Why do you make with the smiley faces?
Why can't you use more than 180 characters? Chris Claremont would be very upset with you.
I have more to say, but 1/2.
All right, so moving on to Cyborg. David F. Walker and Ivan Rice. A bunch of weird troll things. They look like critters or maybe hobgoblins if you're an MST3K fan. They're fighting the Justice League of Cyborg, Shazam, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And they're having a really hard time with these things that are like maybe come up to their knees, but they're surrounded by them. It's like, oh my gosh, they might start biting our ankles. Look out, everybody.
Get out of here.
Back to back. Come on. And so when suddenly some characters called the Tech Breakers show up, they're like robot armor people.
Okay.
They show up and they say that Cyborg is a thief and he needs to give back what he stole. And he's just like, I have no clue what you guys are talking about at all, whatsoever. So
are we assuming that's the apocalypse technology that they use to put them back together?
I would assume. So they start fighting the Justice League. Cyborg goes all in, says booyah!
Booyah!
That's all I ask for. But then But they see that one of the Tech Breakers is a kid and get a little weirded out by that. And then another Tech Breaker cuts off Cyborg's arm, ding,
ow,
and drives an energy axe through his chest,
ow,
and kills Cyborg.
Actually, he loses both his arms, doesn't he?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, they lop off both his arms in this one because then he still has the cannon arm. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to shoot you." They go, "Nope," and lop off his other. He's the epitome of the DCU right now. No arms, just standing there like, "Oh, what has happened to me? How the mighty have fallen."
Yeah, but man, shortest series ever, right in the preview. What a shame, Cyborg, man.
Didn't even make it past the prelude.
Yeah, but
he did get to say booyah.
He did get to say booyah. And so Tech Breakers are like, your death will save the lives of millions. Come with us, our Furbies. And they go back to their portal. And
that would be kind of humorous if the technical enemy that he's fighting are a bunch of Furbies.
Yeah. So the Justice League's just kind of standing around Cyborg, kind of kicking him. And it's like, oh, huh. Well then, Shazam, I guess they're going to need to find a new friend. It's like, oh, man. When suddenly he starts to reboot and rebuild himself as a more techno-organic being?
Yeah, it looks like he's getting flesh over his arms at the very least.
Yeah.
So it'll be much easier for him to blend in with people. Solving that problem right off the bat, because that was our big thing. Like, it's not like he can just go out and hang out with people. I mean, you try to shake their hand with a giant blaster cannon all the time.
Yeah.
It's very awkward and weird, and I don't know what to do. And
yeah, so maybe they are going to make him a more futuristic, different interpretation of what a cyborg can be.
My casual wear is a unitard. I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Always wearing short pants. I've only got half an afro. What's going on?
Again, it was really good, though.
Yeah.
It was actually setting up a premise that could be fun to follow. At the very least, at least through an arc or two to establish a supporting cast and get him in a safe spot.
Get him away from the Justice League for a few issues.
Yep, and give him that base to build off of so that he can actually go from there. So I have to say kudos for that. That's always the hardest part, pulling them out from the team aspect.
Yeah,
especially
that's literally all they have done with him is just like he hangs out with the Justice League.
Not even just now, though. I mean, in the past, did he have a solo?
No, he didn't. He was always on the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that's always been part of a team book. So, I mean, we're not just dealing with the New 52 and stuff. We're dealing with the history of the character being a team member instead of a solo act. So,
sure, every now and then he would have an arc where he'd get mad at his dad or something.
I'm sure. I'm going into the bastard section of this little prelude, though, because I have books like Constantine the Hellblazer, for the kids.
Yeah, for the kids.
For the kids.
You know, for kids.
And Sinestro. So I'll start off with Constantine, the Hellblazer, who is a right bastard once more. Everyone online is saying this is the guy that they wanted to see come back. This is the most Constantine he has been. And he's a complete D-bag. Because he goes into this bar and approaches a woman who's kind of being real shisty and looking around over her shoulder all the time. And he goes, "Hey, what's the deal? Why are you looking like someone's chasing you?" And she's like, "Oh, because they are. See, what I do is make clothes for rock bands. Just made this awesome thing for Black Canary and some rockabilly band that I guess we're going to open for. I don't know, whatever. But I needed special material to do so. And as we're seeing in the flashback as she's telling this story, she summons demons from hell and skins them to make coats and clothes for rock stars.
The light just hits the skin so well."
And, of course, the demons of hell, not very keen on this. They don't like being summoned. When they get summoned by some little girl that's doing, design work, costume design, they're like, "Oh, free food. Oh, but she just stabbed me in the face and is now skinning me. That's not cool. That's not how this works." So they're trying to get revenge, but she was able to get a magical guitar pick that, as we see, has the initials JC on it. So I'm assuming it was Constantine's guitar pick from his band.
He was in his band, yeah.
Yep.
Mucus membrane.
Yep, they even have the poster of it in this one. And that's protecting her, hiding her from these demons, and he kind of goes, "Yoink," and takes the guitar pick and goes, "I've been looking for that. See you later, lady," and just kind of walks away as all the demons take over people in the bar and are about to skin her and consume her piece by piece. And that's pretty much how it ends, with him kind of going, "Yep, I'm a bastard, but I got my guitar pick back. It's my favorite one." This is an interesting take. I know this is the original take on the guy, but is it every time he shows up, we're not going to know if he's being nice or just always assume he's being an asshole and just wait for him to screw people over?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping there's at least a little bit.
I know nothing of old Constantine, so
I'm hoping there's at least enough of him to make him a fun to follow character. Someone that I want to follow and not someone that I'm just like, "I hate you, Constantine. You're too much of a D-bag." Yeah. I'm sure it lasted for forever as the Hellblazer series, so I'm sure they found that line to walk somewhere, but
yeah,
I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and Riley Rossmo, the art Awesome.
Yes,
I mean, I complained
yes.
about the placement of this in the last episode, but this looks really cool and it looks really good. I've never seen so much. I haven't seen so much zip tone in a comic in a long time, and it looks really good.
Yeah, a lot of. Is that the little
dots?
dots?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, hey, look, little dots all
It used to
over
be
the
so hard to
place.
work with it, but thanks to computers now, it's very easy. So.
Fair enough. Really fun for the dot matrix printers.
Yes.
Very easy for them.
That's how I used
that's
to
how
make.
all
That's
of
how
these books are made.
That's
yeah.
how I used to make mine back in the day.
And then
I always
you
had a
rip off
computer
the
that I
perforated-
always had a computer that was like 5 years too old growing up. So I'm like, I finally have a use for this.
My last one for this little prelude, though, is Sinestro, where it looks like, from the premise set up in this book, that the Green Lantern Corps has completely crumbled. Hal Jordan flew off by himself to be a renegade, yeah! And then we saw John Stewart and a bunch of other Lanterns were tossed off into time and space, and we don't know where they are. They're off in the middle of nowhere. And it looks like they've kind of... the rest of the Corps has kind of collapsed in upon itself, and they're not really out policing the universe like they used to. So Sinestro, being the kind-hearted soul he is, has decided to pick up their slack and, rule through fear. Just kind of get everyone to be nice, or else he'll murder them. I mean, that's kind of his thing. And the first one to make a move after the Green Lantern Corps fell apart, Kanjar Ro, brother to Logan Ro, is out there, and he's taken over this little planet, and these guys roll in, Sinestro and his inner circle, including his daughter, Sornik Natu, who, after the Green Lanterns fell, has apparently donned a yellow ring just to protect her in space while she's flying around trying to help people. And they come in, disarm him, destroy all of his troops, and Kanjar Ro's going, hey, can I join? I strike fear throughout the universe as well. Look, I conquered this whole planet, and they were all afraid of me. And Sinestro kind of looks to his left, looks to his right, sees all of the citizens, now that he has no weapons and no troops, kind of going grrr and lighting up their torches and sharpening their pitchforks, and he looks at Kanjar Ro and goes, they don't look very scared to me. See ya, buddy, and flies away. And I was like, damn, Sinestro. He just burns Kanjar Ro, and apparently probably not too well. I'm assuming we get the Benny Hill music of him running around with the entire planet's population.
Better go get my gamma gong again and go find Black Canary for the Battle of the Bands.
Again, so many different ways to make Sinestro say screw you to everyone around you, and it just reads so well. If you are looking for a book to creatively teach you how to insult everyone around you, this is a good book for you. But just that haughty nature, that hubris that he has, it's palpable. You taste it, you feel it every time you see him show up, and that makes it a very compelling book for me.
And Sinestro is our new spirit animal, but very specifically the bombshell Sinestro, who was recently announced.
The Cuban 50s.
The Zoot Suit Sinestro.
He is now our mascot.
Don't fear the dance floor.
We now claim him as our own.
Yep.
So wrap up this little prelude thing.
All right. So first off, Superman, Wonder Woman. We see a beat-up, bloodied Alabama mud-stomping Superman go into a Justice League watchtower that does not recognize him. So he hangs out with the Flash for a little bit. He's like, oh man, Superman, what happened to you? You look really beat up. What's going on? He's like, oh, Flash, come here. I gotta tell you a secret. Punch. Sucker punches the Flash, steals the JLA Javelin. He's going to fly it into the sun in a last-ditch effort to try to get his superpowers back.
This is not a good plan.
No.
So wait, he's referred to his playbook, didn't see a portal around, and said, I'm going to throw myself
into the sun. Yep. That's what I gotta do. And so Wonder Woman, she hops in a Javelin, follows behind him, gets onto his plane and says, hey, you know what? Don't do the Superman. You can still be Superman even without your powers. And he says, well, you know what, Wonder Woman? I don't love you anymore.
Oh.
Mic drop. So Superman, Wonder Woman, maybe not that long for this Earth. I don't know.
Again, I know I've already referenced Reddit a couple times this episode, but everyone was talking about this one. It's probably a misunderstanding thing or a pretend thing, a psych out fake lead. But this book would be infinitely more compelling if it is two superheroes that used to date and had a rough breakup that have to work together through all of their issues. You want a different toned book.
Yeah.
That's it right there. So, I'm kind of hopeful it's not a psych out.
You know, we did have that little moment where like Wonder Woman was getting really annoyed that Superman kept giving their taxi cabs to everybody.
Yes.
If it's just full of moments like that, I wouldn't have any issues, really.
No, I really wouldn't at all, where they know each other, they know their emotional weaknesses even, and they're just prickling at each other all the time. But they still love each other deep down.
Yeah.
And it's like, I could deal with that. I could read that.
Man, yeah, Parasite's stolen all these gold bars, just like you always used to steal all the comforter. It's like,
Sinestro, burn!
Yep. Once Sinestro showing up in the bag, I'm like, oh!
That's the new role for Sinestro in Divergence. In the background when everyone...
Just throwing his hands up in the air.
Little light construct, sick burn above his head.
Just started some sick fires, bro. If only we could get a GIF format in the digital editions. So, finishing off with The Flash, we get a brief recap of what's up with The Flash, how Patty dumped him, so now he's sharing an apartment with former villain Pied Piper and his boss.
Boom.
Sing, yeah.
Boom.
Is he considered the chief or just director?
He's the director.
Director, yeah.
Of
Director
their
Sing,
department.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, they then insert the intro to the Flash TV show where they recap his whole deal with, his dad being in jail and being blamed
for the murder of his
mother,
mom.
yeah.
Yep.
And then after that, we see that the Reverse Flash is after him, and he has a weird team of new supervillain apprentices to help him out.
That he has gathered across space and time. Mm-hmm. I will be the new Brainiac.
Yes.
We're going to converge things here. I know you kind of glossed over it for the sake of brevity, but the fact that Director Singh is so uncomfortable with one of his underlings living in the house with him
while his boyfriend is just all about the public displays of affection.
Yes.
He's just sitting there with his arms crossed, like, no.
Wait for him to leave. I have to see him in the office in 20 minutes. Just simmer down. Oh, he's so grouchy in the morning.
So, Director Pookie Bear, what's up?
I think that's a fun premise setup.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I know Patty works in the office with him, but he just got moved apartments. So, obviously, like we said with Superman, Wonder Woman, that's going to have that whole effect that she knows he's the Flash and everything like that. So, that'll be amusing. Awkwardness. Barry's
when Iris keeps showing up, just the ice cold comments.
Watch my nephew.
Yeah. Watching her nephew again, huh? Okay.
Wow.
Heard. Keeps unbuttoning one more button every time she comes in. I swear to God. That was my favorite part of the Reverse Flash storyline, was the fact that he had to give Iris a Speed Force suit, and she's like, "That's a really tight suit she gave him."
Yeah.
He gave her.
Starting to think we should have redesigned this friction suit thing. Very baggy to aerodynamic. The bagginess.
Yes. Very like a Lisa Left Eye Lopez overall.
Some
Why not that? Why don't you make that?
shoes.
Why don't you make that out of Speed Force, Barry?
So that's all of our preludes. Again, I think this week was about as strong as the first week, where we had a lot of these books I really want to check out. I really want to see where they're going with them.
Oh, yeah, and we also forgot to mention that the other previews this week were just the free comic book day.
Yes, the Batman Justice League
Divergence
and,
ones.
Yeah, that were in the just before the Convergence issues. Or actually, I think it was in the first prelude.
Yeah, so like the reveal of the robot bunny bat suit and Superman beating up a foot truck.
Yep.
And Grail.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Yep. So you could check back on that one, or you can find it online as well. It's also free. They just threw it out there.
Yeah.
Pretty fun read though. There's some interesting stuff as far as these setups.
Yeah, a lot of world building for the Dark Side War with the Grail one. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. So as a reminder, I would usually say buy these books, but they're free.
Yep.
So what you should do is find the ones that you want, make a little checklist or whatever you want, whatever interests you, and then buy them starting next week when they start coming out as actual books. Because if they've grabbed you with with 8 pages, imagine what they can do with 20. Imagine what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they could probably show you Nick Lachey, but it'll make sense next week.
Okay,
I assure you. But make sure you support what you like, because if you don't buy it, they don't make it. Nobody wins, and they're not going to give you more free books. They can't afford to do this all the time. Honestly, I do think that they did not get enough credit for this move with these free books, because that is a bold marketing move.
Yeah, and on top of that, just the fact that they weren't like all buried in like, Newsarama, like preview clumps or anything. They really kind of got them out there.
Yeah, they just dumped them out. What is the ways people would want to consume this digitally? Oh, here, and here. Bleh, there.
Yep.
You can grab it, whatever your fancy is, and pull it down and read it. Have fun. So I do have to say kudos to you guys for that, as well as the trade stuff. They're pushing their trades. They're really ramping them up for some of the books that don't have that immediate built-in obvious audience. Your Batmans, your Supermans. Some of these smaller books, like your Gotham by Midnights and Gotham Academies.
All the other Batman styles.
Well, regardless, it's still nice to see them actually pushing that stuff out and getting it out there so that...
And just crazy off-the-wall crap like Prez and Omega Man.
Yep. So, kudos where it is. Remember that next week when Nick Lachey is staring you down. Don't be that angry.
Nick Lackey?
Nick Lackey.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
You'll see.
Okay.
So next week we are dealing with it. I think we covered it in the last one, but Action Comics number 41, Batmite number 1, Batman Beyond number 1, Bizarro number 1, Green Arrow number 41, Green Lantern 41, Justice League 41, Lobo number 7, Midnighter number 1, Omega Men number 1, and last but not least, Wonder Woman Annual Numero Uno. So, tons of fun for all of us. That was the big week we were looking forward to. So, I'm still looking forward to it. Yeah. If you do want to contact us though, before we jump into this new stuff, you can do so where, Brian?
The internet.
Yep. Pretty easy. You can find us there. You know how to use it. We're DCR Podcast everywhere. So for this week, anything before we go?
See Fury Road again.
Man, you're really pushing that Fury Road, aren't you? Sure, I will go see it again.
Okay.
I promise. So from all of us here, enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you next week.